Reading Club. I got Dana the dinosaur. It's gonna be keeping my company today. How is everybody? How is everybody? How was your day? I hope you had a good day. A purposeful day, as I always say, a fulfilling day, a joyful day. Things don't always go perfectly, but I hope that even in the midst of any challenges you might have experienced, you were still able to maneuver and find little pockets of joy and little pockets of gratitude and little pockets where you could say, you know, things might be going kind of lousy, but look at me, look how I'm handling it. Look at growth, right? Even in the midst of that, look at how, I'm not having one of the little tantrums like Auntie has sometimes. I'm doing better, or I'm learning to be still, right? I'm learning to take my hands off the steering wheel sometimes and pause and be still. Yeah. So I got about what? One, two, uno, dos, tres, cuatro. 4 books. 5, and maybe a little Bible if I get through. To read for you for the little people's dime today. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, the Sahara Dust and Auntie, we're still having a fabulous time together. I'm very drowsy today. For those who may not know, this is dust that comes from the Sahara Desert all the way. We normally say it like all the way across, but remember, Barbados is not actually far from Africa. It comes from Africa at this time when we have all these lot of strong winds and so on. Yeah, and it comes over here and it works a number on us in terms of if you have like allergies and asthma and different things like that. So for me, it would be for me and my sinuses, which really haven't bothered me in a long time. And when I find they're bothering me, I know that I gotta get back on track with my diet because all these things are just really as a result of inflammation in the body. Yeah. And a lot of inflammation in your body can be controlled by your diet. So don't let me get sidetracked because when it comes to wellness and so on, that is another thing. And he's very passionate about. Yeah. So. Let me get started. I'm going to get started on a wellness note. Keeping active. All right. Did you do anything to keep yourself active today? Auntie is into her gym. I went to gym yesterday, getting stronger. I did. Can you remember all the different things I did? I did one when I was doing like a wall sit, like squatting with your back against the wall there, and some curls. That was one. I did when I had to lie down and then come up. I don't like that at all because I do not have a strong core. I don't have strong abs, and it's really not my favorite thing, but I persevered did it. That's 2. I did goblet squats. Hold it like the goblet. Yeah. That's 3. Doobie. I did leg extensions. I like that because I have strong legs. And coach did it like a kind of series or incremental or going in the other direction. Anyhow, like he started me off. I had a lot of weight on, and I had to do like 12, and then he took off one of the weights, do 15. So even before you hit 12, you're starting to feel that in your legs, and you got to go 15, and then take off another weight, and you have to go 20. So he wanted to make me to be like, you're killing me. I wasn't really grimacing. I was feeling it, but I still had on my smile. So he wasn't satisfied. He wasn't convinced I was feeling it. But I told him just because I'm not giving you that satisfaction of seeing complaining and grimacing and everything doesn't mean I'm not feeling it. I really felt it. And then I did doing it in the other way, is under your legs and you bring it in. You have to excuse me, I don't know the correct terms for everything. That's about 5 things, and it's probably something else. And then the last thing was pulling. Like squatting and pulling weight, That was okay. I had a good time at gym. And as usual, start off with a little walk and jog. Warm up with my sweet daughter Gabrielle. So gym is Mondays and Wednesdays. Ideally, I want to be able to have one day during the week for walking or swimming. Yeah, maybe I'll try doing some walking on Tuesday evenings and sometimes some swimming maybe on Fridays. Thursday's lessons, so Thursday won't do. But that's the plan. Maybe I can alternate it, I will get myself in a rhythm. But for now, my exercise is mostly confined to two gym days a week. So that's my story. As I said, I hope that you also are finding ways to exercise and move your body, move your body, move your body. I hope so. All right. Well, look at this. Keep an active foot here. Activity. Activity helps to keep you healthy. You can be active at home. You can be active when you are out too. Keep active by playing. So we can see skateboarding. My boy in the wheelchair. He's doing his thing too. The little girl with the hula hoop. I can't hula hoop, Although I think that I have such a rhythmic waistline. I can't. I can't. A little man playing football and a boy on his bike. Heart and lungs. Activity can help make your heart and lungs strong. If you are active, your heart and lungs can be healthy. Swimming is the best exercises because it utilizes a lot of things. It's cardio. You get that exercise with your arms and your legs. I think it's actually a good thing to do, like if you need to work on your lungs and so on, if you're asthmatic or so on. It's something that's safe for your back. Yeah. Sometimes I don't even realize like the amount of tension I'm carrying in my body until when I go and I have a good swim, and then I can feel the difference. Yeah, it's good because you're weightless in the water. Muscles. Your muscles will be healthy if you keep active. Activity can help make your muscles strong, of course. We can see bouncing on the trampoline. I have to tell coach, let me do that. I like to do that. He's always afraid that I will destroy his trampoline. I don't know why he would think that. A healthy brain. By keeping active, you can help your brain. A healthy brain can help you to do well at school. Mhm. Foods. Healthy foods helps to keep you well and strong. What healthy food do you like? Well, I love me a good soup. Everybody knows that. I'm pretty good at making soup. I love me a good soup. And when it says soup, when we talk about soup, at least here in the Caribbean, we're talking about soup with like a lot of provisions, pumpkin and potato and sweet potato and carrots and yeah, a lot of good stuff in the soup. I like I could do like a good pie too, like good savory pies, like with same red fruit, same ground provisions, sweet potato and edo and different things. You can make them and you can try it with different fillings, and you can mix it up. Like say suppose you're gonna do something and you're gonna use minced meat, you can do some minced meat, some if you're into like soy chunks, you could use that. Or like for me, I'd probably mix it with like some lentils. Yeah, you could do that. Um, you could do a healthy rice. You could put like different things in your rice, different greens and so on. A lot of different ways to be healthy. I'm very good also at sneaking healthy things into foods. Like suppose you're doing what we call bakes. Some countries they call them like fritters, different things. These are things like you make with flour and sugar and water and what baking powder. But what I do, I also add oats. right? And then you can also add different things. If you have mashed sweet potato, you can add that. But that would be like a sweet one, right? Bakes or like different fritters. No, you could do what we would call spinach cakes. It's not a cake you bake in the oven. It's like a fritter, like a savory thing. You would have oh your favorite. You would have like your spinach and your different things. You could do it with what we call saltfish, which is like codfish. We call them fish cakes. You could do sometimes like when I cook up the lentils, like today I cook up some lentils, I had that with some sweet potato. We call it stew potato, which basically means I cook the sweet potato and their skins, cut them up, cut them. Yeah, because you get a lot of nutrition and fiber from the skins. Um, yeah, so then what you can do is take some that same cook up lentil and do it up. So let's say we'll alternate rather than using normal wheat flour, I will use breadfruit flour and you add your different seasonings and so on. And you do it up in a ball, they call them lentil balls. Um, we have what you call pumpkin fritters. The same kind of thing, similar to how I was describing with the bakes, but then you would like cook pumpkin and add your mashed pumpkin. And you could add different little spices to suit your palate. Right, so and as many raw foods as possible and good salads. And if you can do like Auntie and grow your own. I'm so excited about my little gardening journey. Just from using the big the grow bags, I said I'm soon gonna be able to make myself a salad just for myself. So far I have the lettuce. I haven't been picking the lettuce as in uprooting it. I've just taken off leaves as I need to, and obviously they're growing back. So I have my lettuce, I have my tomatoes, and now I have about maybe a dozen or 15 blossoms on the cucumber vine. So very soon I'll have a full salad. Tomatoes, cucumber, lettuce, just in a small space. I'm saying this with intention. A small space in the grow bags. So you see how much you two can do? Don't limit yourself because you think you don't have enough room and no. We could do things, even there's a lot you can do even in using some big plant pots. And it's a very good feeling. Don't you see when you get me started with the gardening, how it is. Yeah. I just love all my plants. I speak to my plants. I tell you you're gonna do my body good and you know, if I see they're not faring too well and I nurture them and yeah, it's so much better than having to buy things from the supermarket. Water. I didn't do well with my water today. It is good to drink water too. Drinking water can keep you healthy and well. You must drink water when you are active and you don't wait until you feel thirsty. You try to keep yourself hydrated. Yeah. Sleep. Activity can help you sleep well at night. Another area where Auntie has been found lacking. Auntie has been going to sleep late and then I get my dry eyes. Remember already the eyes are acting up with the dust as I explained, and then I get my little tired eyes from going to sleep too late. So two areas Auntie's gonna work on. Do you remember? Drinking enough water, but sticking to the diet. But I still would say even when I don't know why I used the word cheating because I don't try to go on a diet like say I'm doing something for a particular time that kind of way. I try to eat like sustainably a way that I would sustain. Even when I have my times when I indulge, I still balance it out because I use a lot of greens, I use a lot of raw foods and so many things. Like today, I went to a place, a juice bar, a raw juice. I might advertising for you, but it was nice. And it had me a smoothie. It had watermelon, beets, and orange. Really nice. It's called Red Roots. So that's one of the things I do. Like I've done it the last two times when I've had my solo dates. Yeah, something simple like that. And I indulge, and it's very good for detoxing. Normally, any fruits, things that are red, yeah, your dark greens too, but Things that are red are very good for detoxing the body. A good sleep at night can keep you healthy. So remember, Auntie's gonna try hold me accountable to this to get to bed earlier. I'm gonna have like 10:30 as my cutoff time. I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna try to rest on this phone like a little while before I go to bed. I hope you will do the same. What time do you go to sleep? Do you try to get adequate sleep? Some people think like that's a baby thing, you know. They take pride in being able to say that they stay up late with their night owls and they still get up early, but I do think that affects you over time though. It's not a good thing to do over and over and over again. Eventually, you will feel the impact of that. School. When you play at school, you are keeping active. What do you like to play? I can see somebody doing some karate here, skipping rope, playing with the ball, hula hoops once again, playing basketball. Little people keeping active, which I love. That's why even like when the children in the neighborhood are playing ball, obviously sometimes it comes by the house and so on. I try not to really fret about it because I always say, you know what, I prefer for them to be outside playing than to be inside always, playing with the thumbs or swiping all the time. It gives me joy to see them outside interacting, running, playing, interacting, talking with each other, you know? Yeah. So what that's telling you, that's helping your body, keeping you healthy. That is helping your mind, yeah, keeping you engaged, and even socially, your social skills. Activity is good. Playing at home and when you are out will keep you active and healthy. What activity do you like to do? Well, as I said, I have to say mostly the gym, the walking, which I haven't been consistent with. However, I do want to go and do a 5K walk, like back in the day when I used to do it. Yeah. And it's been on my mind to get back out there and maybe even eventually to move on to less walking and more running. We'll see. Somebody send me some encouragement out there. I have to believe in myself, believe in myself. You got it, Auntie. Yeah, sometimes I feel like I get kind of short of breath when I try to be running. Obviously I have to condition the body. Yeah. Um, so I identified one that's going to be the end of this month. I don't know. I don't know, but I want to try and do some more walking. Yeah. And that's actually the end. And it has a little quiz. Where can you be active? Well, I can be active, I guess, in the house, certainly, at the gym, but mostly I would prefer to be active outdoors when I go walking. Normally, the walking that I'm doing nowadays is just a little walk where somebody to see me share the nice sunsets and so, which is nice. That's just a short walk to warm up before gym. But outside of that, I normally would do some laps around a pasture where the athletes train, and they would be like going around the periphery, going around, the edge of the field, so to speak. That's pretty nice. And the beach, yeah, even when I go to the beach, what I would try to do is walk from one end to the beach to the other and come back, and then I'd have my swim, and that's really a lovely time. I'm thinking, I don't know if I can manage to do that on Sunday. I want to go to church on Sunday. I have to see if I can organize my groceries on another day and then free up Sunday. I have to see how it will all work out, but yeah, I'm thinking I should go and have me a swim. So that's the end of keeping active. Well, the end of the book, but we can never have an end of keeping active because that's what we're all about. Our next book here we have the Children's Book of Values. You want this one or you want like more makeup kind of story? I already have it in my hands, so I'm going to read it. I'm not going to read all, I'm going to just pick up some. Dishonest disaster. Connor's mom isn't happy about the mess in the living room. She asks if Connor made it, but even though he knows he did, he denies it and blames his sister. They start to argue and are sent to their rooms. How does Connor's dishonesty impact on others? See? Well, first of all, it's impacting on everyone in the house because it can be too healthy with the place looking so messy. Someone might fall over something, trip over something, and injure themselves. The sister now is being affected. She didn't do anything wrong, but she and Connor were arguing. I know she's getting punished just along with Connor. And Connor himself, I don't think it's too great for him to be lying either. And he ended up being punished. Yeah, you got to do better than that, Connor Boo Boo. All right, so the opposite now when we're honest and responsible. Connor admits he made the mess and promises that he will clear it away. He keeps his words, and his mom is pleased that the living room is tidy and very happy with Connor's honesty. Do you always tell the truth and keep your word? Well, I try to. Most importantly, remember, I always say try to be honest with myself. I don't know if I always keep my word to myself, but I'm trying. I hope you're trying to. All right. Not speaking up. Kelsey's class are on a school trip. When they see another group of children, some are in wheelchairs and others make loud noises. Kelsey's friends laugh and make unkind comments. Kelsey is embarrassed by their behavior but says nothing. What should Kelsey do? Kelsey, you need to speak up. You need to speak up when you see something that's being done that's wrong, especially if someone's being hurt and people are being unkind. You need to speak up. You know, it's easier said than done, even for us adults, because sometimes you worry, like, I don't want to be the unpopular person. I don't want to be the one that's going against what everyone else is doing. And sometimes we even convince ourselves it's not our battle to fight. It doesn't concern me. I'll just stay here and mind my own business. But imagine if we all took that position. It doesn't concern me, so I will just mind my own business. What are some situations, like as an adult, something that you could be faced with? I'm thinking, like, suppose you might be on a bus and someone's being like rude and disrespectful to someone on the bus, or suppose that you might be standing and someone enters the bus, an elderly person, a pregnant woman, someone who's disabled, and someone's supposed to get up and offer them, give them their seat, and that person refuses. That is an example where you would speak up, you know? Things like that. All right. An area in which people would speak up is if, like, sometimes you see these things with like children fighting and so on, even adults. And the first thing people think to do is like take out their cell phones and record it, which I don't care for too much at all. Yeah. Although I know people might be hesitant to actually physically try to part a fight because then obviously you end up getting injured sometimes. But yeah. Maybe sometimes people will try like to reason or like just react differently, or even sometimes somebody is injured. First instinct, take off a cell phone and record. You don't even think like, is there something like you could do to help the person? Even you don't have to be officially trained in first aid, but um, bring an umbrella or something and shelter them. Depending on the situation, if you want to give them like something to smell to revive them, like I don't know if it's a Caribbean thing we talk about smelling salts, but different little things that you can do still until the professional help. All right. Let your instinct always be you want to be the first person, to be able to record and share. And sometimes you don't even know you could be seeing something, and it could be like someone's like taking their last breath and suddenly on their way out, which to me is a very sacred thing. I don't like to see people recording those kind of things. In either direction, honestly. Being born or passing away, I always feel it's a very sacred, kind of intimate thing. All right, the correct thing to do now. Kelsey knows her friends are being mean and tells them to stop. They realize it is cruel to pick on others for being different and are sorry. Their teacher overhears and praises Kelsey for speaking up. Are you brave enough to stand up for others? Obviously, Auntie's not reading all of these because it's a big book. I'm going to do about 6. Because my favorite number is 6. When someone say, but pick a number, I always pick the same old number 6. My favorite number is 6. 2 are your eyes and 1's your nose, and 5 for your fingers are your toes, and 4 are the legs upon a chair, but there's nothing that can compare with 6. My favorite number is 6. When someone say, but pick a number, I'll always pick the same old number 6. My favorite number is 6. A little Sesame Street thrown in there for a good measure. Billy and Meg are racing and jostling. You know what's jostling? Like kind of pushing around. Especially if you're going through a kind of crowd or like shoving against somebody, jostling. To be the first on the bus. They accidentally bump into a lady waiting in the queue. She stumbles and drops her shopping. The children giggle and push past her. Oh, are the children being disrespectful? First of all, you shouldn't be racing and jostling and pushing ahead of anybody to get on the bus. And for the time you realize you bumped the lady and she dropped her things, you should stop all that racing and try to help the lady. Apologize, yes, and help her. It says she stumbled, she almost fell down, which is even worse. All right, it's nothing to laugh about. Here, the correct thing now. Billy and Meg are racing to be the first on the bus. As they get to the bus stop, they see a lady waiting. They stop running and let the lady board the bus first. They offer to help her with her bags too. She is grateful for their courtesy. Do you show respect to others? I try. I really do. I try to treat everybody with respect. When I say everybody, no matter your station in life, I try to treat everyone with respect. And I try to respect myself. Okay? How I carry myself, how I speak, how I converse with others, how I speak to myself. Yeah. I try to respect myself. Priya doesn't raise her hand to answer questions or contribute in class discussions. She's worried everyone will laugh if she gets it wrong. So she knew that was gonna happen. So she sits quietly and lets her classmates make the effort. But she soon gets bored. Why should Priya have a goal? Because that's all a part of learning. How will you learn if you don't try? Right? You need to try and let teachers see that you are participating in class and don't worry about if you get it wrong. That's all a part of learning, and you might surprise yourself. You will probably get it right, my dear. So don't limit yourself. Don't allow the fear of being wrong to stop you from participating. All right, being brave and making an effort. It's okay not to know. Just be brave and have ego. He's rhyming. Encourages Priya's teacher. Priya joins in. answering and asking questions. She enjoys the class more and learns much more too. Do you always make an effort and get involved? Sometimes, sometimes. Usually I do, but nowadays, suppose like if I'm in a meeting, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I something comes to mind to say, and I must pause and ask myself, is this something that I've said time and time already? And if I find that to be the case, I don't like to repeat myself. It's something I find frustrating. Most times I would decide not to say. Suppose it might be I'm talking like to a new person, a person that's now learning about the situation, or a person that was not present when we had discussions before. Then maybe most likely then I would speak, I would contribute, I would say something, but no. No, 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 no. So not always, right? I use my judgment. Most likely if I feel led to say something, especially if it's something encouraging, something to inspire others, motivate them, and so on, or something that like a situation might not be the best, but you can find positives in the situation, yes, I would speak up. But if it's a situation like I feel, yeah, I could see if we try doing it this way, it will work. But I could give the idea. Either I can be the person that can actually put it into action, or I can do so much, but then I have to depend on others, and I don't feel nothing's gonna happen. For the sake of my mental health, I might not always speak. I'm being, Auntie will always keep it real with you. I'm gonna give you two more of these scenarios. Two more, two more, two more. Oh, this sounds like a nice one. All of Ben's friends have moved up a group in their swimming lessons, but Ben still needs to use a float and doesn't like to put his face in the water. He feels embarrassed and asks his dad if he can stop going to the lessons. Why is Ben keen to quit? Because he feels everybody is going ahead. He's comparing his own journey to others. I'm too slow. I'm not catching on as fast as them. Everyone is going ahead, moving up, like another level of difficulty or whatever. But here I am. I still need my floaty. They're going ahead and leaving me. Being resilient. What does resilient mean? That's a big word. It means that in the face of challenges, you don't give up, right? You don't get. You might have moments that you feel discouraged, but you don't allow that to overwhelm you. You stay focused and you continue to put one foot in front of the other and move forward. Okay? Ben realizes that if he quits, he'll never get to go in the big pool. So he tries even harder. Eventually, Ben can swim confidently and goes on to join the school team. He is happy he didn't give up. Do you keep going even when something is hard? In recent times, yes. In recent times, I have, I would say, been showing up for myself more and being consistent. And it's a very good feeling, as simple as it is. It's a very good feeling. And sometimes it's not so much that you're doing something and it's difficult. It's just to keep at it and to find ways to balance it in the midst of other things that you're doing, right? So sometimes the challenge is not the difficulty of the thing, but it's the difficulty in keeping at it. I hope you understand. Ella and her friends not looking out for others. Ella and her friends are having a great time at the park. When Ella begins to feel unwell, she tells the others how she feels, but they are having so much fun that they continue playing and ignore her. Why do the other children continue their game? Because they're having fun. They don't want Ella to be spoiling their fun. They don't want to pause and stop playing. So they carry on being considerate. When Ella says she's not feeling well, her friends stop playing and look after her. They help her sit down on the bench and give her some water. She still feels poorly, so they walk home with her. Are you caring and considerate? I am. Very much so. Very much so. So, you know what? We are going to stop there. I'm going to try to mark the page. Oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, yes. And we can continue this. We can mark it so easily. We can continue this next time. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we read about halfway through a lot of different situations. I have one, this is the book of values. I have another one that teaches the children about having good manners, right? Different things that are also important parts of education. All righty, yo. The time is getting away from me. This one is farm stories. Let's read about this ducky that has a cold. This is from Farm Stories book. A really bad cold. Daddy Duck has a cold. He can't stop sneezing. Achoo! He blasts. Achoo! Poor Daddy Duck. He sneezes so hard that he rocks all of the lily pads in the pond. Felicity Frog, that's a pretty name, Felicity. Felicity means happiness. Is not happy to be knocked off her leaf. That's cool, you see? It's very holy. Daddy Duck sneezes so hard that he blasts a dragonfly straight at Tony Toad. The big old toad is not happy to be hit on the head by an insect. The pond animals want Daddy Duck to go away until he stops sneezing. Something awful is going to happen if he stays in the pond, they say. Sure enough, Daddy Duck's next sneeze is so hard that Mindy Moorhen is blown right off her nest. I didn't even know what is a moorhen, but it's obviously a bird. And it's a hen. Oh. Daddy's sneeze makes a huge wave that washes across the pond. It is so big that his smallest duckling gets washed away into the reeds. She is only tiny and doesn't know how to get home, poor little baby. The little duckling swims around until she hears cheeping noises. Is she home already? No, it's Mrs. Swan and her cygnet babies. How do I get home? Asks the little duckling. Mrs. Swan points to the edge of the pond. Oh, yeah, I haven't been involved in Dana. I just look across and see Dana. I always start off and say Dana is helping me. I'm sorry. The little duckling. Come here, Dana. You've taken up all the space. You put her here, you can see her, right? Yes. The little duckling waddles ashore. She can hear more cheeping noises. She climbs onto a pile of straw, but only finds Mrs. Turkey and her chicks. How do I get home? Asks the little duckling. Mrs. Turkey points to the yard. In the yard, she hears cheeping noises again. She finds Mrs. Haynes and her chicks behind a large barrel. How do I get home? She asks. Mrs. Haynes shows her how to get back to the pond. Poor soul is really lost. Hmm? Lost. Dana Boo Boo? At the pond, the little duckling can hear cheeping noises, but she is scared it won't be the right family. Then she hears another song. What song you think she hears? Ah, choo. That noise was probably music to her ears. You see, imagine something, it was annoying, irritating, but now it's probably like a relief because she hears it and she can say, I know I'm home now because that's daddy there sneezing. Quickly, she paddles across. Sure enough, her whole family is there to cuddle her. They warned your daddy that his sneezing was bad, quacks mom, quacks mommy. Duck. Yes, says the little duckling, but it was good as well. That's how I found you all again. Daddy Duck laughs and sneezes some more. That's actually a pretty nice story because something that, as I said, they perceive it to be a nuisance, but it ended up being helpful in the end because that's what helped her to find her way home. Interesting, right? Yeah. I don't know. I have Daniel here. I'm gonna read. I'm giving you a lot of stories today. The last one, and then we'll see if I can read a passage from Bible. Daniel and the firefighters. This is Daniel Tiger. It was a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and Daniel was at school. Guess who's visiting our class today? Daniel said. I'll give you a hint. They ride big red trucks that go ding ding or wee wee. The neighborhood firefighters are coming. Did you hear that? Daniel cheered. He was excited to meet a real firefighter. You realize there are certain jobs that children always say they want to do. Well, my daughter once said she wanted to be a fireman. Fireman, policeman, teacher, doctor, or nurse. I don't think we hear too many saying farmer. I remember little Joel Kelly, one of my students, he would say he wants to be a fisherman like daddy. I love that. Um, I'm not sure if you ever hear anything like mechanic and so on. Some say like businessman. A lot of young ladies now say like they want to have their own hair salon, things like that. Yeah. Vet, that's want to take care of the animals. Yeah. Certain jobs. A singer, an actor, an actress. Daniel was pretending that a stuffy was a fire hose and was using it to put out a pretend fire. Whoosh! Firefighter Daniel is here to help, he said. Wow, you really do look like a firefighter, Daniel, Miss Elena said. And you look like an astronaut, Daniel told her. Miss Elena zoomed around, pretending the classroom was outer space. Then Miss Elena took off her astronaut helmet. Rio, Rio, she called out. Firefighter Miss Elena coming through. Daniel was confused. You can't be a firefighter, he told Miss Elena. Why not? Miss Elena asked, frowning. Because I thought you were an astronaut, Daniel said. You're always an astronaut. Miss Elena shrugged. I like to be different things. She explained my girl is not limiting herself. She can be a fireman, as they call it, firefighter, and she can also be an astronaut. Teacher Harriet said, it's true. Sometimes Miss Elena may want to be an astronaut. Other times, she may want to be a firefighter or even something else. Then Teacher Harriet sang, you know, once is a Daniel Tiger book. We have to have some singing up in there. You can be more than one thing. Even trolley was more than one thing. Fire truck trolley and the neighborhood firefighters arrived at the school for a special visit. Look at those flashing lights, Daniel said. Oh, Dana Boo Boo. Auntie tried to hold it, but can still hold you. Dana too love to cuddle with Auntie. Daniel saw Music Man Stan. I have a friend named Stan that we went to school together, and he is what he is like the sound engineer for the DJ. Yeah, that's funny. How are you, Stan the man? Why is your dad wearing a firefighter's hat? Daniel asked Miss Elena. I thought he worked at the music shop. Miss Elena explains he does. He's also a firefighter and a daddy. Then she sang, you can be more than one thing. Dr. Anna was a firefighter too. The class learned what it was like to be a real firefighter. When we hear there's a fire, we have to be fast, Dr. Anna explained. We put on these coats and hats to protect our bodies. The firefighters passed out helmets for the kids to wear. Miss Elena tried on a firefighter coat. Whoa, that's heavy, she said. Then we ring Trolley's bell to let everyone know we are in a hurry, Dr. Anna said, and she rang the bell. Would anyone else like to try ringing the loud fire bell? Music Man Stan asked. Me, Prince Wednesday said, running over. He was so excited that he accidentally tripped and scraped his hand. Luckily, Dr. Anna took care of him. Prince Wednesday asked Dr. Anna, even though you're a firefighter now, are you still a doctor? Of course, Dr. Anna said. You can be more than one thing. I like to help people in different ways. I love that, Dr. Anna. Daniel thought about what it would be like to be a real firefighter when he grew up. He had fun holding the fire hose, but there were other things he wanted to do too. Daniel also loved soccer and taking care of his baby sister. He said, I want to be a soccer player, firefighter, daddy when I grow up. Sounds like Daniel's going to be doing a lot of things. That gave Daniel an idea. He imagined all the things he could be when he grew up. Here it comes, folks. He sang. Come on, help me here, Dana. I can be so many things to so many people. To my father, I'm a son. To grandparent, I'm a grandson. To my sister, I'm a brother. And I'm a neighbor and a friend to everyone. I can be so many things in my imagination. An adventure tiger or a dance. I might be a famous painter or sail the seven seas or be a dog Roar, a fireman. See Daniel there? Daniel, man, you'll be making Auntie sing along. At the end of the day, Prince Tuesday came to pick up his little brother from school. He was wearing his lifeguard uniform. Whoa, these people got a lot of different jobs, a lot of talent, right? Whoa, Daniel said. Prince Tuesday is a lot of things. Sometimes he's a waiter, sometimes he's a babysitter, and sometimes he's a lifeguard. And I'm a brother, a son, and a neighbor too, Prince Tuesday added. You really can be more than one thing, Daniel said. You too, Dana Boo Boo. What do you want to be? Daniel wanted to know. There are so many things you can be. Ugga mugga. All right, Danny Boo Boo. I can't even begin to list all the things I am. I'm a mother, a wife, a daughter, a sister. Yeah. I have what they have now. I have an older brother. Talking about who's still alive now. Two older sisters and one older brother. Yeah. I'm an auntie, a teacher. Um, yeah, I gonna do work otherwise. Um, Let me say I'm an artist. I'm a motivator. I think of myself as a healer. I'm a gardener. So many things, so many talents I have. Yep. Indeed, indeed, indeed. So that's the end. We did a lot of reading today. I want to read you one little word now from the Bible, give you a little encouragement before you go. I hope you enjoy your time with Auntie reading today. We cover a lot of different things. What were some of the things we did? The importance of keeping active, right? Healthy. Eating healthy and keeping active, moving our body. We learn about our different values. For some of the things we learn about being honest, um, being respectful, being helpful, trying your best, not giving up, um, staying on your own journey, as I would say, running your own race. Don't compare yourself to others and give up. A lot of different things we learn. Helping your friends, being kind and compassionate, helping them when they're in need. We had our farm story, and we learned sometimes the things that we think may be annoying or like a nuisance can actually be helpful to us, right? And then in our Daniel book, we learn we don't have to limit ourselves. We can be more. How wonderful is that, right? Yeah, don't let me lock off your neck there, Daniel book. And now I'm going to read you some Bible. Yeah, I'm going to read this passage, this part from Philippians chapter 4. Let me just read. You want me to read everything? Let me just read and see. All right. So then, my friends, how dear you are to me. This is called the Good News Bible. So if you hear it sounds a bit different to what you're accustomed to, like King James Version. This is Good News Version. So then, my friends, how dear you are to me, and how I miss you. How happy you make me, and how proud I am of you. This, dear friends, is how you should stand firm in your life in the Lord. I'm going to skip some parts, okay? May you always be joyful in your union with the Lord. I say it again, rejoice. Show a gentle attitude toward everyone, not some people, even those that annoy you and drive you bananas and you don't really care for. Like in the Caribbean, we say, I don't take to her spirit. When we say the spirit, like just, what's a good way to describe it? You just don't really feel it for that person. This thing you don't know anything about the person, but spiritually just something seems off. I don't really take to the person. All right. The Lord is coming soon. Don't worry about anything. Easier said than done. Hmm? Don't worry about anything. But in all your prayers, ask God for what you need, always asking Him with a thankful heart. And this is like, I was listening to this podcast this morning. Don't ask me the name of the podcast. It's one of the many things they have saved on the playlist. And it was saying how ideally, like when we have that time of prayer, it should come like as a natural conversation. You don't just like bang up on God. I need this. I need a pair of shoes. I need a dress. I need a fire truck. I need this. I need that. Hi from New York. Hello, Carlos from New York. It's so nice to meet you. Thanks for joining. How is it in New York? I hope you're staying warm because I've been seeing blizzard after blizzard after blizzard in New York. Yeah. And I'm here in sunny Barbados. It's really nice to have you. Yeah, what was Auntie saying? No, I lost my train of thought. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Oh, I was saying, so this podcast was saying when we are praying, it should come as a normal conversation. Like, just like how I'm here talking, like God, like you can imagine how my day was today, and this person was for real, and help me to be able to be more patient, and I want to get to know you better, spend more time with you, and different things like that. My first time on your okay. Well, welcome. I'm really glad that you popped by. Yeah, I'm Auntie Jessica. Um, there's something I do. What I do is I teach reading lessons to children, especially children who need, I'm very careful to use like these terms remedial and so on, but those children that need extra help, right? I specialize in dealing with that. And in recent times, I even started teaching like a young adult to read. That's something so beautiful and so empowering. So obviously, I don't come live and I don't share the video with the young adults. And aside from that, right now I have like a 4-year-old girl, so you might not often get to see me come live with her because obviously, she needs my attention. But I just felt led now come and do these reading sessions. So I come and I read stories, and then the bigger part of it, I always end up going on track, but it's not always like off track. I'm sharing a lot about myself and encouraging others. You seem very grounded. Ah, yeah, I would say so, but what I've grown in is patience. Yeah, because as me would never think that I would have the patience to be like dealing with children and on this journey and doing these kind of things. Yeah. And I guess it's just something like a way I've evolved over time. So I mean growth, that's the word. Yeah, growth. What about you? Are you like that? Would you say you're a pretty grounded person, like comfortable in yourself? That's the way I used to describe myself. Very comfortable in my own skin and I guess peaceful. Yeah. So far for this year, my job which I do aside from the teaching, I felt like just have my own little positivity corner, you know. And I started just simply. I took my bulletin board and I was like, I don't know what was the first one I wrote for January, but like a word, how we encouraging each other this year, or like give a word of encouragement. Or what I'm doing for this year, my word for I don't remember what was the title. So that was like the first one. Everybody, wrote different things. Don't give up. Stay focused. Trust God. Things will get better. Different things like that. And then last month, now for February, I put what I like about you. So ideally, I wanted like if you, Carlos, you came, I would be like was just go with it. Don't get too busy in your head. Think about somebody and just put like something you like about the person. So like for me, I put the name of our receptionist in the office. I said, I love your bright eyes. and your like sunny smile. 'Cause obviously, when I come to the door, she greets me. But then person started getting like, suppose if I write something about Jessica, then Lisa and Sharon and Mary are gonna get jealous. They're gonna a bit too busy with it, you know. But it was alright. But one lady that she chose to write about me, and she said that she like, so I'm so peaceful and so calm. She never seen me vex yet. And I was saying to myself, because that's what you see. That's what you see. Oh, you're the same way. What kind of day makes me feel accomplished? Um, a day when I feel like I'm living my purpose. Yeah, I guess that's the way. I think that's the best way. Funny enough, sometimes that ends up being a day when my day doesn't go as planned, if that makes sense. Like sometimes I might go in the office, I might say, I want to accomplish A, B, C, D. And then I might end up spending a big part of my day like just people passing by and like, I mean, I'm getting some work done in between, but it might be like people passing by and like having a lot of meaningful conversations. And one time that would really irritate me. Sometimes probably it still does a bit, but I'm able to look and see, well, probably this is what I need to be doing today. This is how I need to be impactful today. Or sometimes it might end up like your attention might get called somewhere else, like a meeting or something else that needs dealing with. Once again, now I'm able to flow with that. Or sometimes, like if I come home and I plan to do something, I end up having to talk to my mother or something with the child, you know. Yeah, I'm getting better at flowing with my day. You answer the same question for me now. What kind of day makes you feel accomplished? I don't even know if I use the word accomplishment. For me, when I think about that, as I say, it's all about with my purpose. That's why I say having a meaningful day. Yeah. What impact you have? Do you really feel like connecting with someone in a meaningful way? Right? When I feel like I'm being my authentic self, my real self. I like a lot of gardening too, and I like expressing myself creatively. Yeah, recently now you're into crocheting. You can imagine now, yeah. I made a nice blanket. Recently, maybe another time I'll come and I'll show it again so you can see I'm not getting up now to go and get it. But yeah, those are different things that make me feel accomplished. All right, let me read a bit more till you come back to me. Uh, right, so I said, don't worry about anything, but in all your prayers, ask God for what you need, always asking Him with a thankful heart. And God's peace, which is far beyond human understanding, will keep your hearts and minds safe in union with Christ Jesus. And that's like for me, when I picture that, I always picture myself like being in a bubble or like some kind of force field or something, and different things, all that's going on around me. It's just like repelling off of that because I tell myself like I'm protected, I'm not letting anything. Mind you, it's easier said than done, but yeah, and then like I'm not letting anything disturb my peace, you know. And sometimes that's something you have to do with intention as well. Like what I'm doing here recently now is limiting how much I take in, like news and what's going on in the world. I don't have my head under a rock or anything, but I'm limiting and I'm choosing how I consume that, you know. And in as much as I have to consume that even beyond my control. In other words, I don't seek out to go and watch it, but obviously, you know, you're hearing things and so on. I will balance that out by the goodness and the different things that I put out there in the world, and a word of encouragement, something motivational, something to help people not be feeling helpless, like what's gonna happen now, and that kind of thing. Something small. God is giving me some good questions here. Something small that always improves my mood. Spending time in my garden. I love that a lot. I like aromatherapy too, right? I'm very big on smells. That's something I find calming. I'm going to the beach. One of the things I love to do is go to the beach. And funny enough, It's not something that comes easily to people, but they lay floating, just lying down and floating in the water. A lot of people when they try to do it, they stiffen up and they end up sinking because they realize it's not easy to just trust that the water, you know, the water is gonna hold you, like keep you afloat. Yeah, but that's something that I find very that balance is it's a release, just laying down, with my eyes closed and just floating on the water. As I say, even reaches a stage, then you can hear the water lapping and you can hear your own breathing. And it's something that's very calming and very grounding to me. Yeah, that's something. And most times I don't realize how much I needed to do that until, as I say, go and do it. And then I can actually feel the difference, you know, balanced out, less tense. I really need to go to the beach. I really need to get to the beach this weekend. All right. In conclusion, my friends, the same thing I'm not saying. Fill your minds with those things that are good and that deserve praise, things that are true, noble, right, pure, lovely, and honorable. Put into practice what you learned and received from me, both from my words and from my actions, and the God who gives us peace will be with you. That's so crazy how that's just what I was saying when I was talking about like protecting your peace and being careful what you consume, especially in terms of even words that you speak over yourself. Speak life to yourself with intention to your family, especially your children, your loved ones, even different situations that you go through and so on. Always be very careful. That's why with intention, I don't go around saying, listen, there was like a stage last week when I was actually driving around. I didn't have any money. I mean, I probably had like my ATM card and so, but I didn't have any actual money on me. And I was sharing with my neighbor. We carpool. I get a ride with him like 2 days a week. And I was sharing with him there was a time when my daughter was small, probably like a toddler or so, 2 years, maybe three. And my husband would be driving up and down with her. That time things were challenging financially with us, you know. And I would be saying to him, oh, how you could be driving around with her and you don't have any money on you, you know, you don't feel like suppose something happened and this might happen and that might happen. And you know, he would be going on quite calmly and I really would be feeling uncomfortable about it. And now I am the person. I drive most times I don't have anything at all. And you will never hear me saying I am broke, I lack, you know. I always have that confidence that things will work out. Even if I didn't have like a car to go and take some, you know, I always have that calmness and that surety that even if something happens and I find myself in need, God will put someone there to make a way for me and help me. Yeah. So I'll be very careful speaking those kind of things. I don't ever speak like how I started the live and I was sharing about we having the Sahara dust now. I don't know if you ever heard that term about Sahara dust, Carlos. That's dust that we get coming off from Africa. Sahara, just what it says. At this time of the year, so normally it has everybody with like your allergies, your sinus, and different things. You don't hear me speaking. I feel sick and I'm this way, and you know. Very careful about how you speak to yourself. Forest therapy is my favorite. Just walking, yes, walking is very good to clear your mind. Meditating, contemplate, yes, yeah, yeah. Anytime spent in nature is very grounding. Like when I go for my walks, well, it's not in the forest, but it's on a road that you have like a lot of greenery and so on. And most times I will be walking and like facing the sunset and like you see there in the distance. And even I will try to, in a way, I guess tune out and tune in. But even as I tune in, obviously I'm being present. Like I'm hearing the birds, you know. Sometimes you get like monkeys Just the different sounds. You might hear a cow, you might hear something, maybe a car in the distance. Yeah, I just slow down, slow down, slow down. Walking is a very good meditation. Very, very good for clearing your mind. Yeah. So I really need to get back being consistent with my walking now. And I need to get to the beach sometime soon. This is wonderful. You handle the interaction really. Yes, yeah, yeah. It comes naturally. Because this is me. This is how I am with everyone I interact with. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyone. I don't get intimidated by persons because they're in certain positions and so on. And I actually think people welcome that. Yeah. And probably on the other hand, people that persons might look down on, I'm the same way, treat you with respect, with dignity, with love, with genuine connection, like make people feel seen, you know? Yeah, that's me naturally. And you are interacting well as well. Very refreshing. Very refreshing. I'm glad that you came on. So that's probably where I'm gonna stop. All right, let me read a bit more. Yeah, let me take your rat out. It's actually a passage here I haven't read for a while, but with the intention of me starting my day off with persons, like praying on at a national level too. Another way that I've been protecting my mind, not getting so caught up in what's happening here politically and economically and otherwise, I've been focusing on what I can do, yeah, to improve things. So one of those things is, as I share, just having that small little positivity corner there in my office. Remember what was the last thing I said? Last month we were looking at what I like about you. I know this month I started off with what I'm working on. One of the things about it too is like to get away from having like toxicity in the office. Getting people to be less guarded and to share more and for us to encourage each other, right? So one of the things I wrote, I said, I'm trying to complete an auditing course that I'm doing. And I wrote that with intention because this is something I started years ago. This is one of the areas where I'm growing now is in being more consistent and trying to finish what I've started. This is something that I struggle with, right? So I put that up there with intention. So I wanted persons to come and like give some specific examples and share a bit more of themselves, things that they're working on. But they started giving me some general things like getting closer to God, staying positive, which is all fine. But then one young lady, she came and she wrote trying to finish getting out of university, completing university. So I was seeing how it goes. And then another idea I have too, I'm gonna do like a box that's gonna be like a book swap, like take a book and bring a book. Yeah, different little small things like that in small ways, and you're surprised to see how we could like have a big impact from small actions. And another thing I want to do too is with my gardening, which as I said is on a small scale, because I used to garden like at the big back of my house. Now I'm doing some renovations to my home. I really don't have that room, so I started using like these grow bags, like some. It's not really mesh, and I'm not sure what the material is, but anyhow, it's like a degradable kind of thing, but pretty big. You could even grow like sweet potatoes, different things in there. So I have that at the front of the house. I'm just making the most of the space I have, and that's another thing I want to do. Like encourage persons in the gardening, and then even if we could do it away, like I'm gonna ask my neighbor the one that gives me the right down. We could plant it like I'm growing tomatoes and cucumber and lettuce right now. You grow something different to that, and then like we can barter and exchange. And yeah, I'm really excited. I forgot how I got on that thread of thoughts, but oh, I was telling you, I was saying how I got to come back to this passage. So I started watching this thing now, like a kind of national prayer thing every most mornings of the week. Yeah, I like it because I just like the way the people talk, like in just a very down to earth kind of. If they're talking like they're upset about something, they don't talking like this fancy, really. Like, I am pleased about this, God. You gotta work this out, and these people are doing this and that. I just like it. So one the lady she was talking about having these different challenges, we gotta be able to rejoice. We gotta be able to find joy, and there's always a reason to find joy, no matter what the situation. Hello, hey, hello, there. Bijunta 2347. Hello. I happy to see you. My calm energy, if it is intention, as I say, it just flows naturally. I'm not always calm. Okay. I'm not always calm. As I said, it's a process. Um, Most times I do like what you see is what you get. This is how I am. I don't hide or like put on anything. Yeah. Um, I'm not like a person to go from 0 to 100. I'm not like that, but I do have my moments, and I'm a very passionate person. Very, very passionate. So the same way I can be passionate in terms of being happy and being excited, especially when I'm dealing with my children and my loved ones. I mean, I always say to be loved by Auntie Jessica is to be well loved. I want those kind of people that I show up for my friends and my family, my loved ones. I'm really there for you if I care about you. And in tutus, if I decide I'm down with you, I'm not gonna do anything to make it bad for you. But if I done, I done. Tell me what birth sign tell me what you think is my birth sign. Know that I've shared that with you. Yeah, that's how it is. That is how it is. So like if I feel strongly about something and it's something I'm not pleased about, I will be passionate. If I need to speak out, right? I speak up against something, I will do it too. I'm not a person. I'm not a lukewarm person. That's the way to put it. I hope you're feeling comfortable and enjoying the interaction. I am. And I hope you can say the same. Let me finish off here now. In my life in union with the Lord, it is a great joy to me that after so long a time, you once more had the chance of showing that you care for me. I don't mean that you had stopped caring for me, you just had no chance to show it. And I am not saying this because I feel neglected, for I have learned to be satisfied with what I have. It's really amazing how, like, I mean, although obviously I've read this passage before, it's not like I have it planned, just things that I keep saying and not being things that I'm reading now. They was just giving the analogy about when my daughter was small and I used to be worried about my husband would be driving and barely have any money. And how just last week I myself know was driving. I didn't have a cent. And now I come here and read about being satisfied with what I have. And it's true. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have more than enough. Yes, yes. It's really something to be able to share that from an honest place and to be like smiling. Yeah. I remember going through times like, I mean, payday would be coming, and before the payday come, the money done spent. I know a lot of people can relate to that. And even there's an old lady, but she has passed on now. But when I first came to live in this neighborhood, because at first I came on my own, yeah, and she more or less like took me under her wing, like a daughter. And then when I had my daughter, obviously then she came like kind of like a grandmother to her. And the time she came up, like things were low in the house, and she brought Pampers, and I think she bought like some yams or some potatoes or something like that. And then somebody sent fish, and then somebody sent like coconut. Like, in other words, I had a complete meal and dessert. So when I say I know what it is to lack and I know what it is to have, that I know can like give and be comfortable and you know, mm-hmm. Pass on the blessings, boy. When it's a pass on blessings, it's not always material things either. It's just even in this interaction with you, even as I pour out into the lives of my children, yeah. It's really a beautiful journey. All right. I have learned this secret so that anywhere, at any time, I am content, whether I am full or hungry, whether I have too much or too little. I have the strength to face all conditions by the power that Christ gives me. Yeah, that's my favorite Bible verse. Normally, in I think it's King James Version, it says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I'm probably going to leave it there. Mhm. And with all his abundant wealth through Christ Jesus, my God will supply all your needs. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. And as usual, once I feel to share certain things, somebody sure needs to hear it. Yeah. So somebody out there be encouraged. That they keep it real. It's not easy. We're not even talking about certain world developments now, and we're going to be worrying about this is going to be going up and that is going to be going up. No, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about just keeping it real on a day to day, even outside of that. I know the struggle is real. I know it's not easy. Somebody needed to hear that. Be encouraged. All will be well. All will be well. You don't lack anything. All right? All will be well. Mm-hmm. We live in an abundant world. Either through your own doing or that God will place the correct people. And I don't personally believe it's just for you to be spoon fed either. It's to be met where you are and to equip you to be able to help yourself too. Right? And a big part of helping yourself, remember, is how you speak to yourself, how you perceive yourself. Right? How you think of yourself. Don't think of yourself as helpless. There's always something you can do. Yeah. Keep yourself prayed up. Keep your energy in a good place. You explain things clearly. Have you always been good at teaching? Well, with the teaching, um, I think like one of the most important things in the teaching is the connection with the child, right? Once you can come to a place where you can connect with the child, that child trusts you, then that child will come to believe the things you say. And when I say believe what you say, remember I said that I deal with a lot of children probably who wouldn't be getting like 20% when they start. You understand? Children that really need a lot of one-on-one attention. Not that they're stupid. All the children are capable. It's just that they need that one-on-one and they need people to take the time to understand how they read. Some people learn, I don't know about you. Let me ask you that how you find you're more a visual person. You more will be auditory, like how you think is the best way that you learn. I think for me it's probably visual. Yeah, yeah. I think I tend to probably remember things I see, especially because I like art and that different kind of thing too. Yeah. So when the children come, that's why the page is called Creative Intuition. It's a word play, creative, because I use a lot of creative ways to teach them. Intuition, because I use my intuition. Yeah. Remember, I say try to see the child, try to understand the child, and work accordingly. So one of the things that we do is like we beat the drum, something as simple as that, and that's something that helps them with the reading. I have a guitar too. Different things like that. So we might do some art because each of them will understand. If I could be good at art, I could be good at music. Who's to say they can be good at reading, they can be good at spelling, they can be good at adding, you know? In other words, the child comes to see himself or herself through my eyes. So once you can have that connection, then you can get the child to believe in themselves. Because they will believe you when you are speaking those positive things to him or her. Yeah. But I've always been able to connect easily with children because I have that kind of childlike spirit to myself. I think that's one of the main things. I myself am a child at heart, you know? Yeah. So these people say like I look young for my age and so on. I say, well, maybe a little dye in the hair and so on. I just turned 50 last year. But the bigger part, when they tell me that, they don't even realize it's my childlike spirit that they are seeing. Right? The way that I live my life. Yeah. And keeping active and so on too, but more importantly, it's that kind of childlike spirit. And that's not, I don't let anybody take that away from me. Nobody, nobody. Mm-hmm. A combination learning, I fully understand. Yeah, combination. Mm-hmm. It's good that you still understand yourself well. Ecological lifestyle learning. Okay. We did share how you love your nature and the forest and so on. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's something that's also very important, being grounded in nature. Mm-hmm. Not sure if you were on when I was talking about my gardening and that I talk to my plants and so on. Yeah, I do. When I first plant them, I give them a whole little song and everything. Welcome, welcome, family. I'm so glad you're here. You're going to do my body good. And my plants must know my voice and respond. It might sound strange to people, right? But yeah, they know my voice and they respond to me. They do my body good. Yeah. I'm going to leave you now. I have to go and call my mom. I have to go and do what? Maybe take me a nice shower and relax, get something to eat. Yeah. I'll see what else. Because remember, I committed to getting in my bed at an earlier hour to get some proper rest. Yeah. But it's been a pleasure chatting with you. I try to come on. Probably it's going to be mostly Tuesdays. Last week I did Tuesday and Thursday. But it's Thursday evenings that I do the lesson with the young adult, the young lady. She didn't come last week, but mostly she will come this week. So for sure Tuesdays, and we will see about the second day. Yeah. But very nice chatting with you. You continue to be positive. You continue to stay true to yourself because I can see you're someone that you really understand yourself, right? Not too many people like that. So you continue to be the authentic, positive person that you are. No, no, learning doesn't start in a classroom. A very small part of learning probably should be confined to a classroom. I like that, yeah. Mm-hmm. And you see the kind of mindset sharing with you about like the gardening and the community guard. All these are different things the children need to learn, right? Values, life skills, how to grow food, how to sew a button, how to cook, how to budget, yeah, how to do different little things like that. How to handle conflict, mm-hmm. How to communicate, how to express yourself, like if something is happening and you're not happy about it, yeah, how to be able to bring over yourself, how to take care of your body, your hygiene, your wellness, different, yeah, a lot of these different things, yeah. Thank you for your time as well, and you social and emotional, correct, correct. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's the real comprehension there, right? Starts first with understanding yourself too. Yeah. Don't get me started. I can go on and talk these things. So we'll chat again another time about it. All right.